Commissioner to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, businesses in the United Kingdom have begun to respond positively to the first policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, including fuel subsidy removal and the unification of foreign exchange rates. He stated this when he met with Vice President Kashim Shettima at the State House, Abuja, that the policies are important to attract investment into Nigeria. Let's share the story by TVC News, Femi Akonde.
It appears President Tinubu's participation in the new Global Financing Pact in France is off to a good start. He has held meetings with the staff of the Nigerian embassy to structure his schedule and engagement with other world leaders and foreign investors that are eager to do business in Nigeria. The introduction and implementation of some audacious economic policies in just less than 1 month since he assumed power may be sending the right signals to investors.
Mr. President's policies in the last 3 weeks really have encouraged these foreign nations and investors to become more interested in the affairs of Nigeria, in shoring up the economy of Nigeria. So a lot of them are quite interested. So many of them have even indicated interest to meet with Mr. President in this trip. At the last count, about 3-4 different heads of states of developed countries.
As President Bola Tinubu hopes, his engagement will be productive and will return investors' confidence to Nigeria. Back home in Abuja, Vice President Kashim Shettima also met with the British High Commissioner to Nigeria. They talked about strengthening the Nigeria-UK relations and improving trade ties between the two countries.
So I think we already have a very good economic dialogue, but I think there's a great potential to do more. And as I discussed with His Excellency, the big economic decisions being taken by this government are really important, and they're being noticed around the world. The removal of subsidy, the exchange rate reform, all of that creates a much better investment environment. And I was in London last week. I was briefing my ministers, but I was also talking to British business in the finance, banking, investment sectors.
It might be too early for the Bola Tinubu presidency to count its successes, but it is getting praises for the early steps taken so far. Femi Akonde.
For a very long time, these institutions, the IMF, World Bank, they've been clamoring for this removal of Morgan. Yeah. And for a long time, we've not been able to find a lasting solution. And now they're saying with even the closing of the parallel market,
convergence of the foreign exchange
markets. Now, because the difference before was so annoying and alarming, so annoying. The fastest way,
subsidizing dollar.
A multi-billionaire just give $1 million at 410, and the person will go to town. You doubled it.
You know, one minister told me that he traveled with the president, and they wanted support, financial support, and their host told them, "No, you don't need support. Huh? You are giving subsidy here and there. You don't need support. Subsidy for Forex, subsidy for electricity, subsidy for petrol. Really don't need support. You don't look like people who need support." He told them to their faces, you know. I think it was the VP that they traveled with, not the president. So they were telling us what we needed to do, but which government after government did not have the courage to do. Because we must tell ourselves that some of these measures are very painful.
Extremely painful.
But they are inevitable if we want to set Nigeria on the path of real progress. Because a country is spending 96% of its receipts to service debt is not a country on the path of progress. That's a fact. There's no economist that will tell you that, oh, that shows you are making progress. No, you are not. You are not. And a good chunk of what should actually come to us as revenue is what we were using to pay subsidy with over-bloated claims, over-bloated consumption level.
Even non-existent.
We never got the accurate figure.
claims.
People who make subsidy claims will say they want to bring vessels of PMS into our country. They will divert it to Benin Republic and sell it there. Some were even selling it outright on the high seas. You know, some of them were jailed. For so long, people were stealing.
Some of them fled the country.
Yeah, people were stealing.
The Aigbojek panel.
Yes. That was a much deeper work than the one that the House of Reps compromised itself while doing. And we had the issue of keeping dollars inside cap. And all that. So now, the Forex situation is one of the biggest problems that ensured that foreign direct investment was not coming into our country. You, Ayo Zubagu, cannot get up from here to say you want to go and invest in South Africa, and when it's time to repatriate your money,
Retrieve your money.
you want to repatriate your money to your country, then CBN tells you, sorry, we don't have.
Emirates left because of that. Emirates.
Now,
Till tomorrow.
so many companies have suffered. We are the worst. When you are looking at trapped funds, we are the worst. Trapped funds. Now, if you are hearing that people's funds are being trapped in Nigeria, you bring investment into the country at a certain rate. Look at it this way. I will ask whether it makes sense. You bring, let's say you brought the naira, the dollar was let's say it's 460 when you brought your investment to the country. At the time you wanted to repatriate, because of the volatility of the exchange rate market, you then get it at a rate lower than what you brought in. Will you be happy? Now, this convergence will ensure that we achieve stability, because there is no sacred cows anymore. In the past, we were having a different rate for schools. We were having a different rate for Hajj and pilgrimage to Jerusalem. You know, we were having a different rate for manufacturers who want to bring in imports, so or raw materials. But now, even the federal government is subject to the I&E window. That is where everybody will trade. And they will find a kind of equilibrium on a given day. That will be the rate. Today, it's gone up to like 7 something. But ultimately, I don't know what. I look at 709 the last time I checked. But I know that it will eventually.
Weeks ago, it was some 55.
Yes, it will crystallize at. No, I'm talking about that IE window.
Okay.
The new
Investors and
exporters window, where they are all trading now. So now it will eventually stabilize at maybe 600 to 660. That is what JP Morgan has predicted.
Yeah.
Now, what we need is stability in that market. Once we have stability in that market, investors will have the confidence to come back. Right now, given the volatility, nobody wants to come and do business in Nigeria. So many big people have withdrawn their business from Nigeria and gone back home. So once we achieve that, even the dollar inflows, you know, once you have stability and more people are coming in, that dollar illiquidity that is a big problem for us, we will be able to solve that problem.
Yes, so foreign direct investment.
And you know why we will also be able to have dollar liquidity? Because a good number of people were keeping it simply to trade with it. They will now know that it makes no sense. Because the disparity that they were enjoying.
Before, it used to be 300 and something.
Look, let's even look at before the president took the decision. 460.
460.
Then
one hand.
To 768. Look at the gap. That is, it will only encourage people to trade.
Just $5,000.
Yes.
With $5,000, you get.
Dotun will want to bring in raw materials for his pharmaceutical company. He will not be able to lay his hands on. He needs it badly.
Yes.
The people
But
only
if you are
need it for
connected,
trading,
if you are
they
connected,
will not be able to get it. Bank staff will be encouraging people to say, don't you want to travel? It's your BTA that they are targeting. They will do business with you based on your BTA. So the president has said, no more avenue for cheap trading with the currency. He said it, and he has done it. See, it's probably the step that has gladdened these foreign investors, the IMF and the rest of them the most, because they know that at the end of the day, people will be able to access the dollar much better than before. And once we have that stability, Nigeria will be a good place to come and do business in.
like the envoy said, it's a good signal that this administration just sent out, and a lot of people will take interest and they will know that we mean business.
I really quite agree. I really, really quite agree with that position. Because that stability is what we need. If no one is sure that doing business here is safe and secure, if I bring in $1 million,
Can't get return for investment.
I want that $1 million to still be there at that rate. Don't let it be devalued. It's the
I
devaluation.
will be owing people.
And then don't
$800
also let it be trapped.
in trap
IATA, on that, we are not good in their rating.
at all.
Extremely bad. And who wants to trade in an unstable environment? And
And we have the
For me-
traffic. We have the traffic.
yeah, a lot of people do not really know or don't appreciate when you see a leader who understands the basics and can see beyond the protests and the immediate gain people are seeking to enjoy. And I think NLC too must be saying it now. Or maybe the leadership is being forced to see it. Because ordinarily in the past, when you have removal of subsidy by a certain percentage, what they keep demanding for is increase in salary. They now know that that increase is also still going to bring inflation. So what they are looking for is something that can
Pushing the
cushion the effect, which is far better than pushing for a salary increase that is also going to increase inflation. Because it's our way of life. When you go now, you'll see that the transport sector is settling down. When the subsidy was initially removed, some went
stable.
as high as 200% increase. They've come down. What it means now is those guys who used to take home the kind of interest or wages from this transport sector that is not commensurate with the service that they are rendering, they now know that they must cut down on the profit that they make. And that's why things are settling down. For instance, short distance, like maybe in Lagos here, from Ogba to Bega, at the time the increase came, it went to 200 naira. Now, from 100 naira to 200. That's come down now. Sometimes you see them take the same 100 naira or maximum 150. Because people are not going to patronize you. So as Nigerians, we are also coming to that realization that I must not make excessive profits on what I traded.
The number of cars plying the different routes just
Which was good, and people will they will say, I will leg it. If it is too much, I will leg it. And so, it's just the reality of our situation. And we must begin to look at the positives, not just the immediate negatives. Some things are going to come up. And we have to keep dealing with those things. For instance, July 1, there will be an increase in electricity tariff if we are not careful. What can government do in that regard? Those are the things we should begin to look at. Can we, at some point in this country, get to a situation like the telecom sector,
Actually, that sector is also subsidized as the electricity power sector.
The power sector
Yes.
is subsidized.
So
Even the current tariff is not cost reflective.
it's not.
So the Gencos cannot make their money.
They
No,
are not.
discos.
The discos,
The
sorry.
discos.
They are not. It's not cost reflective, and government has subsidized them with hundreds of billions.
Billions.
Of naira, you know, so that's also they've also told us to do something about that. They've
That's
advised
billions.
us.
40% increase from July 1. So we must be.
They'll continue like that on an increase.
I know when I want to leave. I know when I want to
Until
leave
it
my
is
house, I must
cost-effective.
switch off
Exactly.
my
You must put it
bulb,
off.
switch off my
And
fan.
investors will not come into the sector
Into this, they will
when
not.
they can see that it's not.
Can't make
They
profits.
can't recoup their investment.
How can, for example, let me
They
just
won't.
give as an illustration, the cost of producing electricity is 35 naira per kilowatt hour, and you are charging 18.
Like
That's
we
the
used to
sort
do
of
in the
situation.
first
Yes,
sector.
that's the sort of situation that we've been in for many years. So, government can continue.
America subsidizing. It means
Wow.
gradually we are going to get there. Everybody, it's not tough time.
you have
It's-
to
we are going to begin to adjust gradually.
Yes.
Because when we get it right, eventually, just like the telecoms when we started, the tariffs were much higher than we are paying now. Before, when
I
you
know
said,
that even the fuel price will come down.
It will come down. The
because
fuel
of
price
this
will come down.
war in
Yes.
Ukraine. That is that war that led to higher this thing.
When we started
Come
with telecoms, a text message was about 10 naira. Now we pay about 4. So it means with competition, we're going to get it right.
All right. I want to thank you, Dr. Oladipo. Thank you for your contribution. And Babajide Kolade Todibiki.
Thank you.
Thank you for always being there. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. And you can watch us tonight at 11 p.m. And we're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.